What's going on YouTube? Matt from GarageMC here. Guys, in part 3 of assembling the Trx465ex. You just saw in part 2, I built the bottom end and, gapped the piston rings, put the cylinder on. Our cylinder studs that had to be customized a little bit, It's not uncommon to buy stuff that's for the make and model that you're working on and have to customize it. But in this one, let's get the whole clutch side built out. I got a bunch of all brand new OEM parts and a Wiseco forged clutch basket. So let's get into it, man. Part numbers and all kinds of stuff in this video for you. Stay tuned. Alright, so this is where we left off, guys. What we're going to start with here is I have an OEM clutch basket with the gear and the springs and everything. When you buy an aftermarket basket, you need to get the gear and everything you need off of it. We built a Wiseco forged clutch basket for the 07 Trx450ex that I had, but this is different. So same procedure, but different setup. This has springs. The 450R had the little bumpers and stuff in it, but basically all the same stuff. So yeah, let's go ahead and start doing this. I had already drilled out and punched the rivets out that hold it. So on a 400ex you have 3 of them. Here's like the head to one of them right here. I just drill it out, and then I use a step bit on the drill press. For this one it was a lot easier. Just started going down. You got to really pay attention, make sure you don't mess up this plate. And you'll see, like, as soon as it cracks the rivet that goes through it that holds all this together, this will start like spinning on the drill bit. You guys probably know what I'm saying. But so what's in this here? Let's see. So we got this plate here. This is like the spring locator, and this is also what the hardware that Wiseco provides goes through to hold it down. So we'll go ahead and put that there like that. Then we have our gear. Put that to the side. And now we get down to these springs. So all we're going to do is basically just, kind of like that game when you were a kid. You put the circle in the circle and the square in the square. And we're going to make sure we don't get any debris or anything in this, because that would suck. So we're just going to transfer all these over. Very simple, guys. Very, very simple. Actually, you know what? Before I put this together, let's bust out the scale of doom and see what the weight difference is on these baskets before we build them out. Alright guys, stock basket with nothing on it, just bare, just like we're going to weigh the Wiseco basket. So, 7 ounces. Alright, so let's get that off the scale and put that to the side because we don't need that anymore. Now, the Wiseco one, I can already tell it feels heavier. Alright, what do we got here? Oh no. 6 ounces. Alright, so we saved a whole ounce here, guys, but that's not the point of this. The point is that this is forged aluminum. That's just a cast piece, or, yeah, it's a cast piece. This is forged. So, way stronger. Just hell of an upgrade. But, yeah, we saved an ounce, too. Okay, that's great. Alright, so, how this puppy goes together. I'll make sure everything's nice and clean. We're going to put our springs in these little spring pockets, like so. Very simple, guys. This might seem like a intimidating thing to do, but it's really not. It's really not that bad at all. Alright, so we got those in. Now we need these 2 here. So we got the one flat one that goes in there like that, and then we got this kind of judder spring style one that goes with the taper in the center up, not the taper in the center down, up. At least that's the way it was on the other one. And then we have our gear. So you can see the different shapes here. The rectangles are for the springs, and then the one at the, what's that look like, an alien head? That shape there goes around where the bolts go. So just a little like that right there. And then this goes on here, the spring, I guess, plate, the whole plate that screws it all together. And then these bolts that are supplied by Wiseco, why they give you 4, I don't know. But anyway, we only need 3. So 1 in each hole. But we're going to use Loctite 272. This is different from regular red Loctite, guys. Regular red Loctite's good up to 300 degrees. Loctite 272 is good up to 450 degrees. And we'll never be taking this apart. At least, you know, we don't plan on doing that when you build a clutch basket, but we're going to use that. I usually put a little drop in the threads, and I'll put it on the bolt too. So, and then give it a few minutes to set up, then I'll crank those down. Those bolts get torqued down to 7.1 foot-pounds, if I remember correctly. If I look at the paper and it's different, I'll put it across the screen here, but that's, you know, the range of where we're going with this. So let me build that out, and we'll put that on in a minute. That's how that goes together. All right, so up here, everything is brand new OEM Honda. So we got the primary drive washer and nut. I'll give you guys the part numbers for those. So the primary nut right there, that is part number 90235-KA4-000. And then there's the washer. These are the old ones. I just put them, this is how I keep stuff, guys. When it's still good, I'll just put it back in its original packaging. So I know exactly what it is for next time if I ever need one, or, you know, you never know what you might not have. So the washer that goes behind that is part number 90501-ML3-910. So that's what those two part numbers are for the washer and nut that go on the primary drive, like right here on the crankshaft. All right, so the first thing out of these three gears that goes on, this is the one that the timing chain runs on. And you'll notice there is a little spot where it's missing one of the teeth. That gets lined up with this mark on the crankshaft, if you guys can see that. So just like this. Just like this, I said, yeah, there we go. Just like that. So that one goes on first. The next one to go on is this larger gear here. Same deal. It's got the flat spot. It goes in the same exact location like that. And this one is same both ways. It's not, you know, directional, one side in, one side out. So got that one there. And then we got this one. This is the one that drives the oil pump gear. Same thing. This is different on both sides though. So somebody's riding. Sound like a CR125 or A125. I can't, you know, specify the brand by the tone of exhaust. I'm not that good. So on this one it says out. So naturally you would face that in. No, just kidding. When it says out, faces out. Usually, rule of thumb, guys, anything with writing on it usually faces the outside of the engine when you're putting it together. So if I can line the damn teeth up, bang, just like that. And then we have our brand new OEM nut and washer, like we just went over to part number 4. Washer goes on first, obviously. And I'm not cranking this down yet, guys, because sometimes to get the basket on, you got to take this gear off and put them on at the same time. And, you know, just depends on what tooth you're on with the crank. So we'll go ahead and just spin that down by hand. When this is all together and we can lock this with the tool, this nut here gets torqued down to 65 foot-pounds. You guys have probably seen this in one of my other videos before, but, you know, we're watching this one, so this is what we're doing. So 65 foot-pounds on the primary drive nut. All right, next thing, I have to put the screws into this, and then we'll pick back up. And I'm also going to pre-soak my Wiseco clutch fibers, and I have brand new steels as well from Wiseco. So let me build that out, and then we'll pick back up. All right, guys, so I got that all torqued down. I torqued it to 7.1 foot-pounds. That's what it was for the last one. I can't find the paper to it, so if you're going to order this, make sure you double check your instructions. Don't just, you know, take my word for it, but that's what I'm running, 7.1 foot-pounds. All right, so now this is going to slide onto the input shaft, which has this collar here with assembly lube. So there's that on there. Now I'm going to take a little extra assembly lube here and just put a little drop on the outside of this. Well, maybe more than a little drop, but it's all good. Can never have too much. All right, so we're gonna take this, and it has to obviously go over that collar and slide in between the teeth there. So there's that. All right, so the next thing that goes in here now is a washer here. So I keep all these, you know, organized and labeled for what they are. So it's this washer here, which is this part number 52143 KZ3-860. This is the same on both sides. This goes in there just like that there. All right, so the next thing that would go on would be our pressure plate. So I have all of that right here. These are in good shape. I'm going to upgrade these later on to a Wiseco centers or even Hinson. A little fact for you guys, Wiseco baskets are made by Hinson. So, you know, you save yourself a couple dollars and get a Wiseco. They're not much cheaper, but, you know, they're like maybe 10 to 20% cheaper. I have to clean this real quick because I left it sitting in oil while the fibers were wet. Anyway, I don't know why I keep old clutches sitting around, but I just do for some reason. But anyway, here we could talk about this real quick. So this, now the inner part, I call it the pressure plate, goes in. It's got to be on the right teeth. If I can friggin' find the right teeth here. Bang, just like that. Now, the next thing to go in there are a couple different washers. So you have this one here goes in first. This is the part number on that, which is 90501-ML3-910. So you have this one goes in now. And then another washer, which is right here. So this washer here, it's not the same on both sides. It has a slight taper to it. I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but you can kind of see. But it says outside on one side of it. This is the part number for this washer, 904-32-428-000. That one goes on here, right after the other one, with obviously the part that says outside there. And then the thing that holds it all together is this nut here. Part number for this nut is 90236-HAA or HA0-000. So there's that part number. This nut is the same size as the primary drive nut, but it has this little like ridge to it here. This is the part, well, this is how this goes on. This is the part that you take a hammer and a punch and you peen the edge of this little collar that's on there in accordance with this little notch that's in the shaft here. So that's what locks it and keeps it from unscrewing. I'm not going to put it on right now because I have to clean all this stuff, but this nut gets torqued to 80 foot-pounds, 80 foot-pounds. So 80 for the clutch nut, 65 foot-pounds for the primary drive nut. And I believe they're 27 millimeter, both of them. All right, let me clean all this up and reinstall it, and we'll pick back up. Before we forget, guys, before I put my clutch basket on, we got to put on the more rear cam chain slider, because you cannot access this part here to put the bolt in after the clutch basket's in, obviously. And we also need to put the shift detent on, and the shift star has to get torqued down as well. So that's what I'm going to do now. The cam chain slider is held on with this washer, collet, and bolt. The washer goes against the case. It doesn't go on the outside. So let me see if I can do this one-handed. Probably not. Well, anyway, let me go ahead and try here. See if we can't do this. All right, so we'll put our collet and bolt in there. Make sure we don't drop it into the bottom end, because that would just suck. All right. Let's see if I can get this washer on here now. Can you guys even see what the hell I'm doing? Probably not. There you go. Don't know if I could do this one-handed, guys. Oh, got it. All right. So the washer goes between the slider and the case. We'll get this bolt started. Alright, I will put the torque specs across the screen here in text, because I forget what this one is. And so that just goes like that. Alright, now let me get out my stuff for the shift detent, the spring, and the pin and stars already on the shift drum with the bolt. So All right, let me get that stuff out, put that on, and then I'll look up the torque specs real quick and tell you this before we go to the next scene. All right, guys, so this, I can't find the exact torque spec. If I remember correctly, it's 88 inch-pounds, but, you know, as always, double check your service manual for your exact torque specs. Anyway, next thing to go on, guys, we're going to put the shift detent lever on, and I usually put this on before the shift star. It just makes it a little bit easier, but in here we have this spring with the hook on it. We have a washer, the bolt, and the detent itself. So this goes like this here. This little hook goes in the bottom little groove on the detent, like that. And then this part of the spring goes behind this little nub you see here on the case. So we'll go ahead and get this started, and you can use blue Loctite if you like. As a matter of fact, I'm telling you guys to use Loctite, and I forgot to put it on. That's always good. Or did I? Oh wait, no, I did put it on. All right, so we'll go ahead and get our bolt started here, if it will allow me. All right, don't forget that little washer inside there as well. This I'm also going to torque to 88 inch. Actually, wait, hold on. I will get you guys the proper torque spec for this here. Hold on. So we'll just leave that loose for a second. All right, so this goes to 106 inch-pounds. I was close, but that is a 10 millimeter. We'll leave that loose for a second, and then we will take our shift star like this here, guys. It's got just the bolt and the star itself with this little hole in there, and this pin actually comes out of the shift drum, so make sure you have that there. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a flathead or any type of screwdriver, and we are going to pry down our detent and pull that out of the way. And be careful because this has a ton of tension, guys. You guys can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to line up our pin, that in there like that, and we'll get our bolt going in, get that started. And after we get all this set up, then we can tighten this down to 106 inch-pounds here in a second. It's just easier to do it this way instead of fiddling with it forever. This is not a torque wrench. I'm just getting everything ran down to where it has to go. And then I will come back and torque everything as needed. All right, so that's that. Go ahead and see what gear we're in here. So that is that's that for those steps, guys. Next thing to go in now, we can finally put our clutch basket in. But before we put our clutch basket in, those bolts that we put through were to take a punch and peen the edge of these screws. So either you can peen it dead center, or you could do it on the side of it, like where it meets the aluminum basket, the forged aluminum basket. What that does is it mushrooms the tip of the bolt, and it makes it harder for it to back out if it ever wanted to. So I'm going to go ahead and handle that now. I usually do a center and one on the side on all three, or however many your clutch basket has. Let me do that now, and then we'll start putting the basket in. All right, guys, before we start putting this clutch basket on, the oil pump needs to go in before the clutch basket, because the clutch basket comes to about here and would block this hole that we have to get to put our oil pump in. Also, guys, if you ever need an oil pump, don't buy one of those cheap, you know, Chinese knockoff ones on eBay. Either spend a couple extra bucks and get an OEM replacement one, or you can actually rebuild these. These are rebuildable as long as all the areas in there aren't chewed up. Like if something like really messed up the inside of it, because then you'll lose oil pressure. But it's kind of like a, I guess what you call that, like a cog gear or something, the way that this pump is set up. I don't know the actual terminology for it, but we can't put that in yet either, because the timing chain has to go on there, and since this has to go before the clutch basket, if this is in here, we're not going to be able to get the chain around the gear without taking a primary drive and stuff off. So what I'm going to do is I got a couple more things to prep. We'll put the rest of this stuff in this engine when it's in the chassis, finally. What I have that I have to prep, I did a couple custom things. You guys are going to see those in the next scene. And while you guys are watching that, well, you'll be watching it for like a minute or two, but you guys won't know, but it'll be hours, you know, movie magic, all that stuff. I have to powder coat the motor mount, the triangular motor mounts, the plates that go to the front part of the engine. I think I'm going to powder coat them red, actually. It was either that or black, or leave them vapor blasted, but there's going to be so much vapor blasted stuff around the engine. I want to kind of bring a little color down there too. And as a matter of fact, guys, in the comment section of this video, let me know what color you guys want me to powder coat the clutch cover and the stator cover that go on this engine. Either we could do it fully vapor blasted, like I showed you guys in the video before this one. There's a stator cover, fully vapor blasted. The oil cooler, vapor blasted. I was going to coat that black, but I figure I'll leave it bare aluminum because it'll probably cool better that way than having a coat of paint over it. Probably, you know, a minimal amount difference, but mine as well, right? I paid to have it vapor blasted. Let's leave it shiny. So as far as cover colors for you guys to choose, so either vapor blasted, black chrome, or I have regular like gloss red, which I think will be a little too much down there. I don't really want to do the engine covers red, or black, and then I'll lay some red powder coat into the Honda logo. That is like in the stator cover, like the part that's indented in there. On stator and clutch, I'll do them both. So if we do them black, I'll put red. If we do them, actually any color we do them, I'll do the inlay with red, unless we do red. But I'm not going to do red covers on it. I think it'll just look stupid and obnoxious. But let me know in the comments what colors you think we should be doing those covers in, guys. We'll put those on in the next video of this when we are doing all the buttoning up of everything. So, all right, let me start doing that, and then we'll pick up putting the bottom end and the cylinder and stuff in the quad. So, guys, while I'm customizing the lid for this CFM airbox with the battery relocate and everything for the 465ex, not going to be running the intake snorkel that runs out of the airbox up to under the gas tank. Not a big fan of that. All it does really is pull in hot air that's trapped up above the engine under the gas tank and the heat shield and everything. So we're going to plug that off because we're going to run with a modified lid for the airbox like you see me making here. So I was trying to think of how I could plug this thing off and, you know, keep it looking trick and all that good stuff. So what I had found that actually fits the diameter of that is a soda can. But don't relax, don't worry, I'm not going to be just putting a soda can in it to block it off. One, you go to clamp it down, it would just crush the can anyway, so we need something solid. So I was thinking, I cut the soda can in half, and I was thinking I'll just fill it with epoxy and I'll have a slug. That's not going to be trick enough for me either, so this is the route I'm going to go here. I know it's a little overboard, but why not, right? I got the stuff here, I might as well use it. So this is the port that I'm talking about. You know, this goes up to the carb. So the soda can I cut in half, and I'm going to mix up epoxy. So what I did was I put a piece of carbon fiber in there, and what I did was I took a bunch of carbon fiber and chopped it up. This way it'll be like forged carbon fiber, and it'll have like a cool little look, like the shape of the can. And if I don't like the way it looks, I could always put it in my wood lathe and turn down the epoxy and, you know, change it or drill a hole through it, whatever I want to do. But I put a sheet in there first so it looks like regular carbon fiber weave, and the rest of it will be with forged carbon fiber. So after I mix up some epoxy, put some epoxy in the bottom of the can first, then put the sheet of carbon fiber, then I'm going to put the chop strand all in there, and then this piece that goes to my pipe bender fits directly in there. I'll put this in there with some heat-proof like mold making tape that I have. This way I could pull this back out and I won't damage my thing for my pipe bender. It fits just in there, and I'll put it in the press. It'll take a day or two to cure fully, but yeah, I'm really doing that. Just, you know, in case you're like, what the fuck? Anyway, let's get back to it. All right, guys, this will take some time to set up and harden. Probably like, I'll leave it in the press for 2 days. That's how you do forged carbon fiber, all chopped up. It's got to have the proper ratio of carbon fiber to resin, and you leave it under pressure, and that's how you get a piece that's as hard as steel. Although this is not something structural, it's just something that probably nobody's even going to notice unless I physically point it out to them, but I know, and so do you guys. So, you know, what are you going to do? But here's the airbox lid I made too. On the CFM, it comes with this aluminum lid, so I made another one out of plexiglass with some holes in it. Chances are I'm probably going to have to open those a little bit more, or when I bolt it down, put spacers under it so it gets air from all the way around as well. So, you know, we'll see what the quad wants when it runs. It's probably going to be a decent amount of air that it's going to need, and fuel, you know, with the 89mm bore and the stroker and all that stuff. So just a couple little things that take up a bunch of time that people never account for. But, you know, I could have just threw the snorkel on it, or even use like a PVC plug from Home Depot or something, because it's just a hair under the bell of a 2-inch fitting. So not like a 2-inch, like this would be like a reducer. This would go into this like that. So it's like right in the middle of these two sizes. So this OD and this OD, it's right in the middle of those two sizes. So that's why I went the route that I went. Just so happened to have a soda can sitting on the bench, and I'm like, that looks like the right size, and it was exactly. So that's where we're at. You guys won't have to wait 2 days to see this part, though. You'll see it right about. Bam! It didn't exactly come out the way I want, but Horatio Pagani, eat your heart out. He's been calling me, trying to get me to come design carbon fiber parts for him, guys, and I just, you know, I just don't have the time for shit like that, you know. I don't want to go to Modena, Italy, and work for Horatio Pagani. You know, I got enough of my own carbon fiber shit to make. Now, the bottom of the can, like, pressed out, so it kind of messed up the mold that I was going for. Guys, I made maybe 3-4 carbon fiber things in my whole life. It's just a plug. It's still going to work, and it's going to look a hell of a lot better than a piece of ABS plug sitting in there. But, yeah. I gotta sand down the edge here. I didn't know how the soda can was made. There was like a little lip in there, so I literally just chiseled this thing out of that soda can for about an hour or so, and I ended up just having to cut it off, and the slug is like totally in there. I'll get it out because I put release tape on it, but you know, we'll figure that out another day. I ain't got time for that shit. But you know, it's still gonna look good. I'm gonna just sand that down and throw clear coat on it. You're not even gonna see the damn thing. It goes right where that port is there. I mean, damn, man, look at this friggin' thing. Oh, guys, real quick, another custom thing here. You guys know how I use all that LA's Totally Awesome degreaser all the time? So I went and bought one of these insecticide sprayers, and I filled it with LA's Totally Awesome. So you just pump it, and the nozzle's got a couple different like styles, like stream, mist. It actually foams it up real nice when it comes out of there. That thing held 18 of these bottles here. So I got sick of taking the top off of the spray bottle every time I was using one, because I go through a bottle of that in like 15 minutes cleaning a quad. So now I can just spray it down. One of those insecticide sprayers is only like 20 bucks or 23 bucks at Home Depot or Lowe's, whatever it was. But there's a little idea for you guys if you clean your quad a lot. Makes it a lot simpler. Anyway, all right, let me get to, I got to powder coat these plates. I was going to say red, but I have a set in red. Although they're all messed up, but I don't think I'm going to do the plates in red, guys. It's just too much, man. We're gonna do them black, and I got some other thoughts on the clutch and stator cover too. I think we're just gonna go with black chrome, guys. I think that's gonna complement everything very nicely. I'm also going to, maybe not in this video, but I'm gonna repowder coat the springs on my vapor blasted 450R shocks that are in there with all my carburetors ready to rock. All right, guys, let me continue doing what I'm doing and get this powder coat done. And don't mind the camera angle right now. You know, these were vapor blasted, but vapor blasting, the powder coat doesn't stick to it too well. Ask me how I know. So I re-sandblasted them, so they have a nice texture on them. So the prismatic gloss black powder coat that I'm going to use is going to stick very well. I'm going to do these, and I got a couple other pieces to do. Notice this is a Yamaha, but while I'm spraying back black, there's a Yamaha thumb throttle on my LT250R. I'm going to redo that. I want to shave the Yamaha logo off of it first, and a couple other little parts, but let me do that, and then we'll pick back up, guys, and let's start putting this damn bottom end in the quad so we can finish building out the clutch and stator side in this video. Can't even really see it in there, guys, but I don't think it looks bad, man. I don't think it looks bad at all. I don't even think I can get you guys a friggin' angle to see it. That's how much you don't really see it. But it's there, you know, and it's plugged off. Before I start doing this other stuff that we just talked about, guys, I gotta clean up in here. I'm tripping over friggin' leaf blowers and 250R engines and cases of LA's Totally Awesome and 250ex parts and you name it, $1,000 worth of OEM little tiny shit. And yeah, it's driving me friggin' nuts. So let me clean this up. Probably not going to see the rest of this video again till tomorrow when I start filming again, because there's so much shit to clean and I can't just, you know, just push shit aside. Everything's got to get put back in its place and all nice. Also, I got the thumb throttle too. I resprayed, and I got the Mod Quad thumb throttle for it, so we'll build that out in this video too. Why not, right? Stick around. We're nowhere near done yet. You go get some popcorn or something right now. All right, guys. I went ahead and did a couple things, powder coated. I'll show you a couple little things I did. I did the little brackets that go up on the front of the frame by the shock for the fender stays. I did these in black chrome, because that's, you know, what I had in the gun. And like I said before, I think we're just going to do the black chrome for the clutch and the stator cover. Other little thing I did and got done was I bought a different the valve that you turn on and off for the petcock, not the petcock itself, but like the actual black knob that you put your fingers on through the plastics and turn it on and off. So it was anodized red to match all the other anodized red stuff. So I took it apart. And I did the backing plate and gunmetal, or I'm sorry, black chrome, and I left the knob red. So, you know, yeah, ridiculous, but you know, you could take it apart, so that's what I did. So there's that. That's gonna look nice and trick. And then I went ahead and I did those triangular motor mount plates in black chrome, and I put the bottom end in the quad. This way we can in this video do the clutch side of the engine. We'll finish building that out, and we'll put the flywheel on there too. I have to powder coat a stator cover. All I have are the vapor blasted ones. I haven't done one in black chrome yet, but I do have the clutch cover done, as you've seen. So check it out, man. She is coming together, guys. This thing is really starting to you know, come together here. I just threw the head gasket on it. I gotta find the dowels. I know I bought them, and then I remembered I used those for Mike's 416 build. So we're not going to be able to get the head on in this video. I got to order 2 new dowels. I probably have some used ones, but I'm not going to do that because I won't sleep right at night doing that. But here's these plates, guys. Black chrome. I think it's a nice contrast, man, with all the stainless steel, polished stainless steel motor mount bolts and everything. Brand new OEM Honda pivot bolt. And the nut as well is brand new OEM Honda that I didn't put on yet. Where did I put that? I have them. Where are they here? Well, I'll get you guys the part number for the pivot bolt. Oh wait, here we go. Here's the nut, the pivot bolt nut that goes on there. OEM is 903-05-GE8-003. The pivot bolt that I used is for a 450R, so it's not, you know, a 400ex part number, but I will put the part number. I'll tell you guys the part number after I find the bag. I might have threw it out already, but it's a pivot bolt, man. So, you know, if you're looking for pivot bolt, that's a pretty easy part to find. If I find the bag, I'll give you guys the part number here across the screen right now. But anyway, all right. Next things I'm going to do, guys, I want to finish cleaning up in here. Let's build out our thumb throttle real quick, because I have the, this is the mod quad part. This just goes in your factory thumb throttle, which I have also recoated, and it's right there. So that's ready to go. And I have the cover for it. I have a billet aluminum cover because, you know, everything's all nice and trick up here. We got the brake reservoir cover. We got the streamline levers. You know, everything's going to be looking sick, so it's got to match. You know what I mean? Jelly bean? Anyway, all right. Next thing, let's start building out this thumb throttle and get that done. All right, guys, let's build out this thumb throttle. So normally, your 400ex or any Honda thumb throttle, these are the same across a lot of different quads from Honda. I just redid this in gloss black. Normally has a thumb throttle like this. We are going to switch it out to one from Mod Quad to match the rest of our controls up there, black and polished aluminum or black and machined aluminum. So what comes with this is just literally just the thumb throttle part from Mod Quad, and it comes with this new bushing here. Right here, this bushing, I mean, when you get it, it comes packaged like that. It's just on there like that. That goes in here. So the old one, I just pried out, as you can see, like this. Came with a new one, so we're gonna use a new one. So this just goes in here like so. And I got to get out my grease and everything. We're going to have to push this in there pretty good. Let me grab my grease. All right, so maximum waterproof. You guys know what I like to use. I'm going to go ahead and put some grease inside of the thumb throttle itself. Just get a little bit in there, you know. As a matter of fact, let me clean this out with a wire, like a pipe brush. And get any loose stuff out of there. You know, there's no point in putting it together dirty. There's a little bit of stuff in there, no big deal. All right, put some grease in this bad boy. Just like this here. Don't mind the angle, guys. I hope it's good for you guys. It's a little awkward for me. I got the camera between me and what I'm doing. My arms around you. I'm holding you. Hold me. All right. It's going to be a pain in the butt to squeeze in there. All right, I didn't take it over to the press. I just took this, this little pick I have, stuck it through there, held it, and then just tapped it in my hand, just like this, and she went right in. All right, so we'll keep our grease in there. We don't need it on the pick. All good, no biggie. Wipe my stuff off. All right, so the next part that's going to go in here, guys, we'll put this in from the bottom up, just like this here. Just like this here, I said. Just got to work it in a little bit. All right. There we go. Yeah, it feels kind of tight, but it feels good at the same time. Just keep working that in a little bit. And she'll free right up. All right, so next thing to go in up here, guys, we got this little spring that's always a pain in the ass to get lined up. Just clean all the junk off of this, which I should have did already, but I didn't. So this little spring here, this goes on this arm. You'll see the arm has like a rectangle part in the bottom. That's what locks onto the rectangle part of the thumb throttle piece that we just put in. As you can see, like this piece. So this would go on there kind of like that. That's what keeps it locked on like that there. So you can see that it spins, doesn't, bang, it's on the lock. Then after that, I'll show you on this way you guys can see what I'm doing here. I'm actually going to pull this back, the thumb throttle back out. I forgot to put this little plastic washer on the bottom. Then you have this piece here. This goes on. There's a tab that's like 90-degree bent on it. This goes on like that. That's the thing that bends up when you put the nut on. So like this, and then you would bend it up and it holds it from backing off, obviously. Alright, so we'll take this back off now that you guys see what order it goes in. So this spring is going to go, it's going to go under this against the thumb throttle. And that little hook there, as you guys can see, goes in this little section here. Or, I'm sorry, this one here. And then you would wind this piece up. And this will go into, up against the casing of the thumb throttle. So kind of like this. So I just hold the two. It's kind of tricky sometimes. It's a little fiddly to work with, but you'll get it. You could just stuff it on there like that. You can also take a pick and run this around like that. And then just move the thumb throttle so it lines up with the rectangle part on the lever, the actuator that actually pulls the cable. So, and then you put your lock nut on there, just like I showed you guys on the other one, and then the nut, and then bend one of these tabs up so it holds the nut. And that's it. Thumb throttle I'm going to use for this is a Motion Pro 2-inch extended throttle cable for a 0405 Trx450R. Since that is the carburetor that we're going to use. I'll show that to you guys in a minute. Actually, here, it's right here. So I had this vapor blasted by my boy James over at Moto Blast, and yes, this is a Kean OEM from a 05 Trx450R. We're going to run this because, you know, that's just, one, it's what Curtis from 223 Cycles suggested, so that's what I'm going to do. So I got to mail that out to him. But that's why we're going to use a 450R thumb throttle for an 0405. The thumb throttle on a 0405 450R is the same as the 400ex. When you get into the 06 and up 450R, it has like the electronics and stuff on it. It's totally different. All right, let me button this up and then we'll go put the engine together. All right, guys, back over here on the clutch side. I took the primary stuff back off, but I'm going to put everything back on to get to where we left off, which would be starting to put the oil pump on. So I got all those parts brand new too, including the two dowels that go here that locate the oil pump. Also the gasket from Honda. I'll give you guys the part numbers for those. I gotta find my bolts. I might have to pull them out of another engine just to get this over with. I got a bunch of engines on the bench, so not a big deal. These 3 bolts that hold the oil pump on are all different sizes. You got a small one, the medium size, and then the large one goes over here. We can get this part out of the way real quick though. So these are the 2 dowels that have to go in here that locate the oil pump. So we'll put these both on real quick while we can access everything. The part numbers for those are, where are we at here? 94301-08140. So that's for both of those. A lot of the dowels in this engine are the same, you know what I mean? It's like the same repeated part number. These are slightly shorter than some of the other ones that go in other places in the engine, so make sure you get the right ones for that. Next thing that's going to go on there is our oil pump gasket, and this is metal, guys. Be careful. Some of these are really sharp and they'll cut you, especially if you get like a cheesy Chinese one. This is OEM Honda though, so 15151-KCY-671. So we'll go ahead and put this on. The top part of it goes onto the dowel we just put in, and then there's a little pin here on the right side case, which goes through here. That's what keeps it set where it's got to go. All right, so that's all that goes on there. Then the oil pump can go on. Make sure you're on both of those dowels, otherwise obviously it won't go on. So that's that. I'll put the bolts in here in a second. Especially I have this one, so I could put this one in and we can continue going. I'll find the other 2 later. There's a little O-ring that goes here, this piece here. So this is part number 15152-KCY-670. This is the same both ways, but if you notice, there's a little writing. Where is it? Can't see it on the camera there. There we go. There's writing on one side on this little connector piece here, so we're going to go with the usual rule of thumb and face that towards us, the outside of the engine. And that just goes in here like if you put it on the right way. So this goes in there just like that. All right, so there's that, guys. I'm going to dig out my bolts and at least get this one in here. I think I have this one and this one out right now. I'll have to look through my bolts, but the timing chain here, this is a Trx450 timing chain. Heavy duty timing chain is what BPR ATV calls it, but I'm pretty sure it's a Trx450 chain. It's got an extra link on the whole thing here, so we'll just go ahead and get this weaseled in. Weaseled, wiggled, whatever I just said. So we'll pull our gear out a little bit, get that puppy on there, and then we'll just fold it over the top of the head right here. You guys can't see that, but we'll get to that in the next video when we put the head and do the timing on. All right, let me get my bolt out and then we'll continue. All right, guys, next thing that I'm going to put in here is the oil screen that goes at the bottom of the engine down here. This is also brand new, OEM Honda. Part number for this is 15421-MN1-671. So that goes in and it just gets held in with one 10mm bolt. And I've got a little blue thread locker on it. Not a whole lot, just enough to hold it. That goes in there. And this will be the same as most of the other stuff in here, 88 inch-pounds. I usually just do these by hand, guys. You know, once you do a bunch of these, you get a feel for this stuff, you know. So we'll just go ahead and get that puppy snugged down a little bit, especially with the blue Loctite on it, man. You know, just don't use a huge ratchet. This is only a small 1/4 inch ratchet. It's only the size of my hand, so you know, it's very easy to pull the threads out of these aluminum cases. So that's it there. I went ahead and put this oil pump gear on. This also has writing on it. It says KCY, and it's got a D-shaped hole. It's the same both ways, but same thing as usual. We're going to put the writing facing out, so it just goes on the water pump. Goes on the oil pump just like that and gets lined up with the gear up on the primary drive nut. I put our other gears from the beginning of the video back on with our new washer and nut. Not going to torque that down yet. We'll torque that down after everything's all put in here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put some lube back on this part here since we had to take that stuff back off the other day. All right, and get out our clutch basket. And finally, yes, we can put this on now without forgetting stuff. So this just goes on here like it is, like we did before. Just like that. We won't forget our new washer that I gave you guys the part number for earlier. Same both ways. It just goes in there like that. And then we will get our, I guess if this was like a car, you would consider this part the flywheel and the other part the pressure plate. But we'll get that in there. I am not going to put my clutch in yet because it's just, I got the fibers soaking over there. If you guys want to know how to put a clutch into one of these, check my older videos. We go over all that stuff. But this can get bolted on now at the very least. So now to our other parts that you guys seen in the earlier in the video. We got our regular washer, goes on there, same both sides. Then the next washer is the one that has the part, or says outside on it, like you can see. That goes on. And then, even though this thing has a part that you hit with a punch and tap it in, I still put just a little drop of blue Loctite on there, just to kind of, a little extra reassurance, if you will. So, I'll go ahead and get this puppy started on there. And like I said earlier, guys, this nut and the one on the primary drive gears are both a 27 millimeter. It's kind of fiddly to get it started with these spring towers in there. Alright, now I'm going to torque both of these off camera, guys. I told you the torque specs earlier in the video. So after this gets torqued, you would take a punch and a hammer and punch in the lip of this nut into that little gap that's in the input shaft here. So this gets torqued to 80 foot-pounds, 80, and the primary drive gets torqued to 65 foot-pounds, 65 foot-pounds. All right, let me do that. We'll pick back up. I changed my mind, guys. We'll go ahead and pre-soak our Wiseco clutch fibers here in this video. I'll get these soaking while I do those torques on the primary and clutch nut. So we're going to pre-soak them. I just use a paper plate. It's simple. When you're done, you can just throw it out. We're going to do it in the oil that we're running. So GN4 from Honda, 10W40. So we're going to take a little bit of the oil that we're going to run in the quad, and we're going to put a little bit on the plate. Don't need a whole lot. That'll do. And we just take our fibers one at a time. I usually just do this, flip them over. Now, I mean, if you were like, you know, at a race or something and you were about to, you know, change a clutch like in the pits or something, obviously, you know, you pre-soak them a little bit longer. We're not going to be running the quad yet, so they will be soaking while the engine has oil in it when I get to that point here. More than likely in the next video we'll be putting the oil in. I still got to redo that CFM oil tank that I have, but you know, you would want them pre-soaked down. You could just like have them ready to go in like a plastic bag with some oil in there, whatever, from the night before. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but you know, supposed to pre-soak them, so here we are, we're pre-soaking. All right, and then I'll just leave these. I'll put a little bit more over it, like a short stack of pancakes with some syrup. I got that like this, so I'll do it like this. We'll just spread them out in a little array, like so. Like that there. I wipe my hands off so I don't get oil all over everything, which is going to happen anyway. And then just IHOP style, you know, a little extra on there, and I'll move them around again, but I'll let these sit for a little bit while I'm doing the torque specs over there and getting ready to put this in. Also have Wiseco steels and Wiseco springs, and I bought brand new bolts for the clutch springs as well. OEM Honda. I'll give you guys the part numbers for those as soon as we go to put this clutch in. Alright guys, those are all torqued down, 80 foot, 65 foot-pounds. So let's go ahead and start putting our clutch in. So on a 400ex you have 7 fibers and 6 steel plates. So we'll start with a fiber first. You guys just seen these are pre-soaked. Then we will go to a steel. If you feel the edges of them, you guys seen this in my other video, one side is round, the other side is a little sharper. Not much difference, but I like to keep them all the same way. Does it work both ways? Yeah, you know, whatever. But we got the fiber, now we got a steel, sharp side facing in, and another fiber, oh, like that. Another steel, sharp side in on this one. Another fiber, another steel, sharp side in, and we're just going to repeat this all the way through. Alright, so now that all 7 fibers and 6 steels are in there, like I said, I put the sharp side in on the steels on this one. Got a little towel down here to catch any, well, all of the drip at the moment. So the next thing that's going to go in, we have our, I guess, outer clutch hub, center, pressure plate, whatever you want to call it. So what goes on here next is the engagement pin actually goes into the shaft here like that first. That's what the actuator that's on the clutch cover, when you pull your clutch and it pulls this pin a little bit, which pulls this against the springs that we're about to put in, and then the springs clamp it back in. That's what gives you your clutch. There's also a bearing that goes in here. This is not a brand new bearing, but so I don't have the part number for you on that. It should slide in here. Let me get my, there we go. Nice tight fit. It's not a press fit, but it's a tight fit. Make sure we're bottomed out. All right, we're good there. I'm gonna go ahead and put a drop of assembly lube in this bearing here. Just a little bit. Don't need a whole lot on that. I'll go ahead and just work it in there. All right, so now we can put this on just like that. All right, so now I have the Wiseco springs for 400ex. These all go in just like this. And I also have brand new bolts. So when the bolts are new, guys, you torque the 10mm bolts that go in here to 9 foot-pounds. If they're already used, they're stretched, you go to 7 foot-pounds, in my opinion. But all 5 bolts, brand new, OEM Honda 90022-HN1-000. I'm gonna go ahead and put these in, torque them down to 9 foot-pounds, and then we'll see what we're gonna do next. All right, guys, so I think that's about gonna do it for this video. This video is gonna be kind of stupid long as it is. I usually try to go not over an hour, you know, ideally 30-minute video, you know, something like that, but there's a lot of stuff that's got to get done, man. I'm showing you guys every single nut and bolt that goes in this whole quad. I mean, there's a couple things that I'm doing off camera, but you guys have seen me doing before. As long as it's the same as something I've already done, I'll skip it, do it off camera. It's all the same stuff, but you guys are here for the whole ride on this. But just got a visit from FedEx, UPS, and USPS. Just got a bunch of parts in for the 250ex, and I also just got my new JT sprockets in for this, the 465. Gonna run a 15 tooth on the front and a 38 on the rear. So 38 is stock for the rear. Front stock is 14, so I'm gonna do a 15, so it's gonna give us a little bit more top end. You know, we tried to do that on the Banshee. The Banshee's sold, by the way. It's gone. It lives in Philadelphia now. That's okay. We'll build another one soon. Don't worry. I'm already, you know, picking out the next one that we're going to build together, which I'm going to go to another level with. That was just kind of getting in the door, doing some stuff with a Banshee. But, you know, I mean, I like the quad. It was fast. You know what I mean? But it just is what it is. It had to go. I cashed out on that, you know. But anyway, parts for the 250ex that came in. I got a set of used A-arms for the right side. I got all new ball joints. And I got the electronic piece that was broken on that quad while it had no start. But we'll talk about that in the video on that. So, like I said, guys, thank you for joining me in the garage this time. Next time, we'll put the... I got to build the head. You guys have seen me build a head before. This head's going to be ported, polished, all kibble white valve springs retainers, kibble white head studs, which I already slapped in there, so they're ready to go. With a new Wiseco head gasket, stage 2 hot cam as well. I like the stage 2. Doesn't mean it's better than stage 1 or stage 3 is better than stage 2. Stage 1 is beginning rev range, stage 2 is the middle, stage 3 is the upper rev range. As far as, you know, power increase. All trails by me, so yes, I went with the mid-range for the middle RPM range. Anyway, if there's anything that I didn't cover in this video, which I'm pretty sure I did, as far as like the clutch side and everything, check out my older videos, guys. Actually, one of my best videos ever was timing chain sliders video for a 400ex. It's got like probably more views than all of my other videos combined. So, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the garage next time. We'll finish the rest of the engine. We'll start doing the wiring and maybe a first start. I got to send that carburetor out to Curtis, but I'm sure I could do the heat cycles with a stock 400ex carburetor with some huge jets in it just to do the heat cycles. So we'll go over that in the next video, and we'll see if we get that far with it. Thanks for joining me. If you have not yet, throw me a thumbs up, man. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you even doing here? Well, whatever. But I'll see you guys next time. Peace!